I used to be a youth worker, so I've come to launch my policy here with you about doing more and more youth work in London.
They're not old enough to vote, but their parents and carers are. And here's a plan using millions of pounds unclaimed each year on Oyster cards to invest in more places like this.
What I want to do is provide an army of youth workers across London, 4,000 youth workers. I'll be putting £100 million a year into youth workers, an additional £150 million into providing 32 youth zones across London. I like yellow pepper.
But the loss of youth services across London in the past decade has been charted closely by, among others, his Green rival.
I've been studying the cuts since 2011, all the time that I've been on the London Assembly, and we've lost over 100 youth centres in that time due to the Conservative government cutting back on the funding to local councils.
We need to be investing in our young people because it's things like poverty and lack of opportunity and hope that means that many of them are vulnerable to being brought into a life of crime.
And Sadiq Khan says it's rich to hear this plan now from a former youth advisor to David Cameron during those austerity years. This is when youth provision was cut back so badly.
When I was advisor to David Cameron, my job was to deliver the biggest youth programme this country has ever seen. I will replicate that again for London.
How to tackle crime is a central feature of this campaign so far, and he doesn't back Sadiq Khan's planned review of the current approach to cannabis. Is the time right for decriminalisation?
Decriminalisation is not the issue here in London. It's about getting on top of crime. We've had a mayor where we've had an 86% rise in robbery, a 60% rise in knife crime. Sadiq Khan should concentrate on the day job, which is making Londoners safe.
Over the last 5 years, I've invested in Young Londoners, a Young Londoners Fund, which has provided constructive activities for more than 110,000 young Londoners, supporting 300 organisations. You can't believe a word this guy says.
There's a contest underway to put young people at the heart of the mayoralty.
Yeah!
Tim Donovan, BBC London.